From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
Wake up! Wake up!
Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Cummins.
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi
And Corey Clark.
Wake up! It's Wake Up Warchant presented by Cummins. Coming up on today's show, can you have a long-term plan when you're in win now mode? List season gives us a team of the decade debate. And bad luck in losing. Chicken or egg? Wake Up Warchant is presented by Cummins. Follow CumminsLifestyle on Instagram. And think of a question, everybody. Got a few days. Mailbag thread going up soonish. Another day or two. Formulate that question. See if it'll be the one generating discussion. Get an entry into the ultimate tailgate giveaway. A tailgate for 20. Private bartender. Drinks. Food. Setup. Breakdown. All taken care of. You get a hotel the day of the game, night of the game, at Hotel Indigo, unless you do the Central Arkansas game. What are you waiting for? Get involved. All courtesy of the awesome folks over at Cummins. Warchant.com. I'm going to still say until somebody corrects me, Corey, and tells me stop. Summer sale still going on? $1? Half off? Annual membership? Come on, get involved, everybody. Please do. Actually, shout out to two of my good buddies, Joe and Mike. Mercedes Mike. Like Joe sent a screenshot, I think, of Ira's story. And then Mike was asking some kind of question. I'm like, you should sign up. I'm like, it's 50% off an annual membership and $1 for your first 5 days. And he went ahead and did it. So I'm speaking it to not only my friends, but you folks that are listening, my other friends, my other group of friends. So come join us over at warchant.com. Corey Clark, how are you, man?
I'm good, buddy. How are you doing? Did you have a good Fourth? Did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, it was awesome, dude. It was really cool. I actually hung out with the aforementioned Mercedes Mike and his family. Saw some fireworks go off, cooked up some food. Although, man, I've been fortunate. I have not had the sort of like indigestion, digestive issues that I feel like a lot of folks have. Like, I guess once they hit 40 or so, like there's times, we'll go out, especially my buddy Mike, and he's like, how can you eat that, man? He's like, if I ate that, I'd be burping all night. I wouldn't be able to go to sleep. It'd be killing me. I'm like, no, I'm fine. But man, I had like 3 glizzies, like 2 burgers, a couple chocolate chip cookies, a couple Sun Cruisers. Not feeling good. Was not feeling good Saturday night. Had to pop a Tums, and then Abby was like, take Pepto. I'm like, I don't need it. She's like, take it. And I woke up and I felt fine. But it's like I was burping and I was like, oh, that hurts. Does not feel good. But other than that, other than my digestive stuff, everybody that nobody asked about to hear in the morning, it was good. What did you do for the 4th?
Similar story to yours, just a lot of indigestion, acid reflux talk. No, I actually went over to Navarre Beach with Bill Hayes, the owner of Corner Pocket. He has a condo over there, so I went over there with Stephanie and I went over there with his family, grandson, and hung out for a couple days. And he had a really good vantage point of the fireworks off the pier at Navarre Beach. And on the opposite side of the bay, you could see them going off all night over the horizon. So, awesome. Yeah, I had a good time at Navarre Beach, man. It's good stuff. Watched some soccer. Got some sun, got a bronze tan. I just look now like a Greek god. Yeah. By the way, before we start the show, like legitimately talking about sports, Stephanie doesn't like when I bring this up. She's probably going to be mortified that I bring it up for people to listen to, like an actual public opinion. But what's the deal with the sea turtles, Aslan? Like, what's the deal with the lights for the sea turtles? I
know there's like license plates, but like there's like special lights.
Lights on the beach. They're like orange kind of tinted.
Okay.
Because orangish reddish tinted that all these buildings on the beach, I think, are required to have, because otherwise the sea turtles will get too confused and disoriented and won't know where to lay their eggs or something.
That sounds about right. Yeah, no, everyone loves the sea turtles, man. It's like the manatees. It's like it's a uniquely a Floridian thing too. It's just there's.
Oh, okay. So they say people take pride in, but the problem is like only 1 out of 1,000 reach adulthood anyway.
That's the problem, because like the environment's been unkind to them of late because of us humans. So I feel
like they might have been they might have had a bad lot in life even before humans. It doesn't sound like they're really built for this world. And what I thought was funny though, this was the point I was making to Stephanie, is like even on the pier, they have these orange lights for the sea turtles at night. These orange lights to, I guess, keep them oriented. Meanwhile, a dude that day caught a 5-foot sailfish.
Wow.
It's like, do you think the sailfish lobby is like, Are the sailfish are like, hey, can we get protection too?
Well,
Like you only care about the sea turtles, but have at it if you're anything else, any other kind of sea life around the beach. Like these kids with these crabs, they go crazy chasing these crabs at night. That's all you see up and down the beach.
Crabbers.
No lights for them.
No.
But the sea turtles, they get their nests roped off because they're going to hatch in a month or something, and then orange lights everywhere. Yeah, I just thought it was. I was like, man, you turn around and walk down that pier and go get all the sea life you want. But heaven forbid those precious sea turtles.
Yeah.
But hey, maybe that's people take pride in their sea turtles.
Yeah,
I'm not. I don't got nothing against sea turtles.
They're a gentle creature, like crabs are like, what are crabs, man? They're just,
right.
They're weirdos.
I think sailfish might be gentle creatures. I don't know.
All right, no way to segue from there to Florida State sports talk, but we persevere nonetheless. Our Irish O'Fell, managing editor of Warchant.com, 4-part series, just kind of about building a roster, John Garrett's charge, what's going on. And this is one of the things I was being talked about in my group chat, Corey, was just and there's a thread over on the Warchant.com tribal council too. That was it feels like a lot of things that were outlined by Garrett were kind of, were these things that we were not doing beforehand. They seem rather simplistic, wanting to build a proper pipeline where your frontline guys are, junior, seniors, but then behind them, you've got, a sophomore, you've got a redshirt sophomore, redshirt freshman that, you can develop. And then once those guys leave, you're not, kind of held hostage, if you will. He did say that, not to give everything away for free, but it's $1 for 5 days, 50% off an annual membership again of Warchant.com. They identified 18 guys, Corey, when he got there. John Garrett, him and his team identified 18 guys that were either already in the portal or were flirting. His words were threatened to go in the portal. I'll soften it for my guy. They were either in the portal or they were thinking about doing it. And I think they kept 16 of them. So I would think Randy Pittman and Earl Little are probably the two guys that they wanted and lost, but I don't know. That's just pure conjecture. Anyways, the interesting thing was they're focusing on production. The whole premise, quote, is experience and production. And then some of the players that he labeled off and named off to Ira, I'm like, that doesn't feel like a marriage of experience and production. Sam Singleton was a guy he mentioned, Javen Boggs, Landon Thomas, Jaden Todd, Chavez Sandman Thompson, Diamante Diggs. But the more you read into it, again, a 4-part series, this is something that he admits as well, that it's not going to happen overnight. That this is going to,
right.
They're going to go, and they're not going to get seduced by talent. They're going to go after guys that produced, that want to play football, that love it, that breathe it, that eat it, that sleep it. And it just makes your mind wander and be like, well, that sounds like, that more than a 1-year project. Can you have it both ways right now? If you're Michael Alford, Mike Norvell, the Florida State football program, can you have this front office apparatus that is trying to create a sustainable model for acquiring talent, evaluating talent, developing talent to then have a productive roster while also being in win now mode? But we can keep talking about the number of wins they need to have or whatever. But when you read these things, you're like, man, is this it can't be a multi-year project, because there's no way Mike Norvell survives this if it's another middling kind of season. But do you think this can be used even with the new staff that were to come in that would probably replace a guy like John Garrett?
Yeah, but I wonder about that. That's the issue. That's the crux of the issue for me, is could replace John Garrett. Are we sure that if Mike Norvell were to be fired, that John Garrett would go with him?
The sofa stays here? You buy the house?
I mean, I think it would be more like, man, the sofa's only been here. That's a perfectly good sofa. It's only been here for 6 months. Yeah. It didn't come with the house 12 years ago, and we don't exactly know how the hierarchy works, but I don't get the sense that Garrett works for Mike Norvell. You know what I mean? I don't think that's. Maybe it was his hire, but I'm sure he had a say in it. But I think Garrett's his own entity in that. If you like what you see from this roster, considering the money that's been spent on it, and it just because of whatever reason, it's another 7-5 season, but you like the additions they brought in, you see the idea, you see some results that maybe you're like, okay, I really like. The head coach needs to go. The message is stale, blah, 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 whatever. Or he's just not a good game coach. Whatever you want to fire him. But we do like what John Garrett was able to do in a 2-month span of time. And we believe in him. Let's go hire him up. Let's continue to go with him because we know him. We trust him. We like what he's telling us. And then let's move on and get us a head coach. I mean, that happens in the NFL all the time. The NFL, they'll fire the head coach, but the GM stays, right? Like that happens all the time. I assume that will start happening in the college game, right? If you like your GM, because it makes no sense for Garrett to work for Mike Norvell. The reason Garrett was brought in is because Mike Norvell couldn't evaluate at a high enough level. So he was brought in to help him do that or to actually kind of do it for him. So then it makes no sense that they would be, in my opinion anyway, if I was running the athletic department, to have them intertwined. Like, if I believe in John Garrett, then I don't care if I fire Mike Norvell. I'm going to keep John Garrett.
I don't disagree vehemently with anything that you really said. I just do wonder that whoever you do hire is like the head football coach at Florida State University. I just would think that they're going to, I don't think it'd be a conditional hire. Like, hey, do you want the job? Like, the job's yours, but ... you have to keep this guy, his front office staff that created a roster that might be good, but didn't do good enough to keep the previous coach his job around.
So let's play this scenario out because it's something that probably will come. I mean, it's definitely going to come up in college football. This is the world we live in. It'll probably come up here at Florida State in the next 4 months. Let's play it out and let's just use Brian Hartline as the example. Let's say they have a 9-3 year. He's on in Florida State, interviews him, likes him. They want to hire him to be the next head coach. Does Brian Hartline then say, I'm not taking the job unless I bring in my own general manager? Because I don't know that Brian Hartline or anybody else in that circumstance would really kind of have the audacity to do that. Like, you got a job, you got a chance at Florida State. You're gonna say no, I don't want that, or maybe more accurately, let me talk to John Garrett and see what I think about him.
Well, absolutely that. I do wonder how
But I don't think Hartline gets to determine if John Garrett stays. I would think it would be a stipulation of the hire if they, and this is assuming that Michael Alford and all those people like John Garrett a lot and believe in him, that they would. I think there might be a stipulation where they're like, look, he's here. He's going to be the GM. You are a coach. We're going to give, and you can help out with evaluation. We believe in your evaluation skills, but we want you to coach the football team. His job, him and his staff, their job is to give you a great football team. And you are absolutely going to have input on who we bring in, who we believe in, your connections. Please, by all means, any Ohio State guys you want to get, bring them. But we believe in John Garrett and how he puts together a roster, considering the salary that we have to build a roster.
I would think maybe you want to go down in your ship, man. You want it to be all you. You look at like the last two guys that were here.
I don't think that's the job anymore, though, right? Is Harbaugh the GM of the Chargers, or the other Harbaugh? Is he the GM of the Giants? I'm asking that. I legitimately don't know.
John gets a lot. I mean, Jim gets a lot of input, man. Like Jim, we're drafting a left tackle because I want to run the ball. You know, like not that they already had a quarterback in Herbert, so.
But he might be telling them, I want a left tackle. He's not breaking down the film to say this is the left tackle I want.
I think he is, though. I think he's like, I'm sure they gave him a list. Like, coach. I want Joe Alt. Like, you guys, we need to get tackle. I say we get Joe Alt. You might think that, I don't know, whoever from Ohio State was the better left tackle. Like, I don't, man. I want Joe Alt. That's my piece. You guys do it with whatever you want. I don't say it's like he's keeping them hostage, but ultimately, though, you only get one shot at these jobs now, it feels like, right? Like no one's coming for Willie Taggart. I don't know where Mike Norvell's going to land if he ends up getting fired from here after an unsatisfactory season this year. So like, I get it. You don't have that much leverage as a guy that's a group of five coach to tell Florida State, like, bristle at their suggestion that you keep their GM. But at the same time, it's like, man, this is my shot. Like this job, if I can make it work here in Tallahassee, like I am set for life. This will be a happy marriage. Like, let me put everything in place that I want, that I believe in. Because also at the same time, like, who's Michael Alford to tell Brian Hartline, John Garrett's a better GM than the guy that you have in mind? I don't know how many football guys are like in the actual facility that are not part of the direct football program that could, we don't, Martin Mayhew's kind of around the program right now. Like maybe Martin Mayhew's a guy that could be like, listen, I've heard of this other guy that Brian Hartline's talking about. I've been around him. I think he actually is a sharp guy. We should give him a shot. But yeah, I don't know how like Michael Alford could be like, I don't know, Chief. Enjoy Tampa. We'll go somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, we just don't know how any of it. I just feel like it's kind of unprecedented, though, right? Like this is just how the NFL has been for years. Now, maybe Harbaugh's a bad example, that one anyway. I don't think the other one is making all the draft picks. I don't think John Harbaugh made all the draft picks for the Ravens. I think he coached who they gave him. I don't think that Kevin Stefanski made all the draft picks for the Falcons. I don't think he made all the free agent acquisitions. Now, he has say, of course, and he has input, but it's not his decision. Or it's at least a mutual decision. It's not like it's just my way or the highway. There's somebody else that has a vote in the room with Stefanski or with the Harbaughs or with who's the Cowboys coach? Is it still Barry Switzer?
It's Schottenheimer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right.
Brian Schottenheimer.
Yeah, that's right. I just think that's what the NFL has always been. There's been personnel people, and there's been the coaching and the strategy part of it. For all our lives, college football coaches have been tasked with doing both. Well, that's not really the case anymore because it's impossible. Like Kirby Smart will say, I want that guy, and that guy. Those are I've watched their film. Those 5 guys are great. But then he's not negotiating with them. I don't think. No. I think what would happen is whoever the GM is for the Georgia will go, hey, this guy wants $950 to stay. Now, here's our money. Here's our number. He wants $950. Is that worth it to us or not? And Kirby will either say Kirby can have a vote like that. But he doesn't get the final vote because it's not his money. Now, again, if Arthur Smith is the coach of Florida State next year, let him make all the votes because it will be his money that's being spent on these players. But of course, all the head coaches are going to want to know. They're going to want the best players. Period. But there is a salary cap, essentially. Yeah. So there has to be some math involved. There has to be some analytics involved. There has to be some like, okay, this guy's really good, but he wants this number. And is he that important to our team that we're going to give him this number where we could go get maybe somebody that's almost as talented but not quite, but for a lot less, which would save us money at that position, which we don't deem as important, but we could spend more money on a much more important position. Stuff like that. That can't just be in the head coach's purview. Yeah, but at the same time, I get it. And I have no idea. I literally have no idea what they would do with John Garrett and his staff if Mike Norvell is fired. I don't know. This is unprecedented. Anybody that pretends to know is fooling all of y'all because they don't. This isn't a thing that happens anymore. I do think they like John Garrett. I do think they like what he's brought to the program. But you're right. If this team goes 4-8 and Brian Hartline comes in, it's like, wait, the guy that put together that roster, I've got to keep him. I don't know about that. That doesn't seem feasible. So I don't know who makes that decision. Do they give Hartline, again, completely theoretical name, everyone, just roll with it. Do they give Hartline just carte blanche to do whatever he wants? Or is he the head coach and they figure out who the personnel, the director of player personnel is going to be?
I was trying to look at it through a pretty quick search. Like John Lynch, the GM of the Niners, apparently makes like between 3 to 5. Kyle Shanahan estimated $14 million per year. I was trying like Todd Bowles at Tampa. Apparently his first contract was $3 million a year, but I don't know what their GM makes. Again, the whole entire dynamics of all this, according to public records, John Garrett's making $200,000 and Mike Norvell's making
a little bit more than that.
A little more than that. So I wonder how that kind of dance works. Part of it too, Corey, really good stuff from Ira. Go check it out, everybody. I'm not going to give all of it away, but again, some of these things feel like, listen, anybody who has like a flimsiest idea of a football roster would want to instill these sort of principles and these like best practices. Is it like reasonable to think that Mike, and I don't want to say it was in over his head as though he's incapable because he's not smart enough. It's just, did Florida State not give him the proper support over the last 2 years in identifying talent and everything and negotiating contracts? Like, is it reasonable to think that there was so much on his plate that a guy like John Garrett shows up and is immediately kind of, he's curious. He finds it dubious, curious, probably a better word to use, that they don't have a proper stratification of age in the roster. Like they don't have this natural progression of he's our starter this year. Next year, this guy steps in for him when he goes to the league or whatever. Because I just feel like Mike Norvell's a smart guy. I would figure he'd be like, all right, this is who my tight end's going to be. I've got this other guy that will be able to step into his role as soon as he leaves. Do you think that Mike Norvell might have ultimately, is it a fair thing to say possibly that he could have just been completely hamstrung and not had enough help, or that's what the money's for and he should have been able to figure this stuff out so that they had all these things already kind of lined up?
Not enough help in what? Like evaluating?
I would think so, yeah.
Building?
Just front office personnel staff. Derek Gray, Bob Chesney, I think he's a pretty smart guy. I don't think he hires Derek Gray if Derek Gray's a complete doofus.
And hey, I know Derek Ray was the reason the team sucked the last couple of years, according to some people. I feel like UCLA's putting together a pretty good roster. Yeah. He always got way too much. He got way too much blame because at the end of the day, it was Norvell's program. And I think Norvell was signing off on guys that he probably shouldn't have. We don't know what those conversations were like. Norvell had final say, and that final say has gotten him, 3-4 real wins in 2 years. So somebody else had to take the reins because Mike Norvell's final say sucked. So I do think that I think that when it comes to Norvell, I just think it's the evaluation piece, man. It's not like he doesn't know football. Yeah. It's not like he can't communicate with guys, and it's not like he can't strategize. We know he can. You don't get to where he is and you're dumb or you don't know the sport. Of course Mike Norvell knows the sport. His problem, as we know, I don't even think it's development. I think it's just straight up evaluation. Like he looks at a guy, he can't see someone, and look, maybe he didn't have enough help, but he sees an 18-year-old quarterback and can't project, that guy's probably not going to be very good when he's 20 or 21. I don't know if he see. Hey, it might be a great way to live life. He sees the best in people, with a little, working out, better nutrition. He's gonna be the next Dan Marino or whatever. He's a glass half full sort of guy, but it's not a very discerning eye when it comes to the recruits he brings in. He just has missed way too often to trust his evaluation skills, and maybe moreover, what you put your priority in. Because I just think that, I love that Deuce Robinson is on this football team. I think he is a great ambassador. I think and also a really great football player, a really good college wide receiver, a really good one. And I have no idea what they're paying him. No idea what they're paying him. But I would say Deuce, I'm going to guess, and this is just a guess, that last year Deuce Robinson and Squirrel White probably made as much as the rest of the defensive line not named Darrell Jackson combined. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, Diamante Diggs, Diamante McCray, the Desires. Although apparently the Desires reworked their contract after
after the first month.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, well, that's because contracts are idiotic. They might as well just set them on fire. But no, so and maybe even the offensive line too. Now, offensive line, as we talked about, it's harder to get guys like that out of the portal. It's harder to get guys. You've got to devote better resources to growing your own. It's like farm to table, Aslan. When it comes to offensive line, I'll eat all the processed food I want. It's fine. You want to go to a restaurant and eat processed food for I don't know, man, ice cream, meat, maybe even I'm not a foodie, everyone. What would be good farm to table food? What's if you went to a restaurant like that, straight farm to table?
Rack
we talking about rack of lamb? Okay, all right.
Anything meat, man. Not
a chicken nugget. Like a chicken nugget,
correct.
Who cares, right?
Yeah.
But a big sirloin or a
big
rack
ribeye,
of lamb.
Big ribeye, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like you want farm squash. You're probably looking any gourd really. You're looking for farm to table. I just think offensive linemen are more of a farm to table type. You've got to grow them yourself.
Yeah.
And he needs help with that, and hopefully Herb Hand is helping with that. But I want to go back to what are you spending your money on in I know Deuce is making a lot of money this year, and he's very, very, very important. But they spent money on the Desirs. We think they spent money on Ryland Kennedy. So maybe they took a concerted effort to maybe spend money in more important places this year than last year. Like, I don't know what Earl Little technically was asking for. I know he got a lot of money to go Ohio State. I know he wanted a lot of money to come back to Florida State. But is that position that important?
Yeah. Do you think
I would rather have the Desirs, both of them, than Earl Little, just because of the import of the position. So maybe Norvell is made to understand that, or does understand that better than he did.
Do you think they're paying Xavier Chaplin, the left tackle they got from Auburn, who was at Virginia Tech before that? Do you think they're paying him more than Micah Pettis? Or about the same?
That's a good question. I would think, again, it's complete guesswork. I would say about the same.
Yeah.
And the problem is when you don't grow your own, you have to overpay. All you farmers, I mean, this is basically a farming show at this point. You guys can relate to what I'm talking about. Shout out to all my gourd farmers and all my sea turtles out there.
Yes, sir.
But I think with somebody like that, you have to overpay to get a competent starter, which if they were coming up through your program, you would develop your own way, and maybe you're not having to go out and spend. Not only is it hard to put together a brand new offensive line every year, just because of the cohesion that you're looking for at that position, it's also really expensive, more expensive than it should be. That offensive line last year probably cost more money. Not probably. It definitely cost more money than it would have if all 5 of those guys had just come up through the program.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, 100%. You're having to overpay. You're having to overpay for a Chaplain. He's good. He's good. He might be good. He's certainly serviceable, and he's a starter caliber player. But if you grew your own starter caliber players at that position, you could maybe go spend more money elsewhere.
Spend that money over the Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. Delicious food, drink, entertainment, frivolity. It's all there at the CP. Check out their Instagram page, Corner Pocket, one word, _ Tallahassee. They're active.
They are. Yeah, they've been active the last week or so. They've gotten back active again.
Yeah, there's some things you all might find a little bit interesting.
Okay,
check it out.
That was a little vague.
Well, yeah, just selling it. I mean,
gotcha. Yeah, go check it out. See what you think, guys.
But
also, again, at least for the next day, it's called Corner Kicks now, or Corner Kick. I guess it needs to be singular. And you're gonna want to be there for when the USA takes on Belgium. The Waffle Humpers.
Fully intact.
That's
US
right.
Team.
USA fully intact. If you go to Corner Pocket, it was slammed for the game against
Bosnia. And Herzegovina. Herzegovina.
But also, Seventh Hills has a great watch party, too, down there. That's more of an actual soccer bar during the rest of the season and during the rest of the next 3 years and 10 months. That's a soccer bar that shows Premier League during the mornings and stuff. But also at night, for these games, for the USA games, it's jam packed too. So great watching parties available for the big US game tonight in the World Cup.
Corner Pocket Bar and Grill, 2475 Appalachia Parkway, cptallybar.com, the website. We are back. It is Wake Up Warchant. Is presented by Cummins. Follow CumminsLifestyle on Instagram. Again, big match tonight. The United States taking on Belgium. I didn't realize Belgium was like a top 10 team in the world right now. Yeah. I know they used to be up there, but I wasn't that impressed with them. I mean, I watched them play Iran because they're in the same group. I don't even know who they made it past in the round of.
I know they struggled. Yeah, they were. I think they were down 2-0.
Oh yeah,
with like
Senegal?
85 with
Maybe
5
Senegal?
minutes left.
Yeah,
they lost to Senegal or they beat Senegal. They scored 2 in the final 7 minutes, and then scored on a PK in the last minute of extra time or something.
Yeah, so good to know that U.S. is fully.
And obviously, it's awesome. I'm all for it. I don't care how it had to happen. Because I just thought it was an unfair ruling to give that kid the red card. I don't think it was deserved. And you don't have to compound a mistake by just saying these are the rules. And I know rules are rules, and they're supposed to be there for a reason. But it's also soccer, and I just can't stress that enough. Maybe the most famous game in World Cup history is the '86 finals between England and Argentina. Diego Maradona had the absolute most incredible goal I've ever seen. Please go watch it on YouTube, everyone. It's unbelievable. the goal he had. Maybe this was the
wasn't the finals of the quarters.
Semifinal. Was it the quarters?
Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway, it still might be the most famous.
It is the most famous goal in all of.
But no, his goal where he goes through the entire team like
that
twice
one.
and scores.
Yeah, he goes like he
That's
goes the length
incredible.
of the field. Yeah, it's incredible.
And
Dribbles
then
through
4
everybody.
minutes later, he scores the game winner with his hand.
Yeah.
And they nicknamed it the hand of God. Well, obviously, if they used video review back then, the goal wouldn't have counted. But we evolve. Rules change. They won the World Cup on the strength of his illegal goal. So miss me 40 years later saying that, we can't go back on this precedent that's been set by FIFA. FIFA changes precedents every 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, VAR wasn't a thing until, 2 World Cups ago? 3 World Cups ago? I might be wrong. Could be 5 World Cups ago. But it feels like hydration breaks.
Yeah.
They're brand new. Like they just it's all right. It's all right to just say, man, I don't care what the reason is. You want the U.S. to move on to the Elite Eight? I know some people call it the quarterfinals. I'm an American. I call it the Elite Eight. And you want them to have the best chance to do it because the ratings on a Friday night against Spain or Portugal would be through the roof. Do whatever you got to do, man. I'm all for corruption at this stage.
As long as it
I'm all
profits
for
me.
grease and palms at this stage.
That's
but
how they
also,
operate.
it's also that's FIFA in a
FIFA is
nutshell.
completely an absolutely corrupt organization.
Let's not act like they're above this.
Yeah.
This is soccer. It's like being shocked that Don King might have had a fighter throw a fight. Like, this is what FIFA does. They make, but also, I also wouldn't be saying this unless I did think, but truly believe that it was a dumb red card and it wasn't deserved.
No.
That's all. If it had been a crazy red card where he spiked him in the neck, then I would be like, okay, I see Belgium's point. But the guy he doesn't deserve to miss maybe potentially the biggest game of his life because of a bad ruling by a referee. Yeah. So that's all. But I also admit that I'm a wee bit biased.
Yeah. Of note,
now back to football.
Of note, we recorded this before the Mexico-England game last night on Sunday. But I was impressed with the Norway performance against Brazil. Very disappointed in Brazil's first half penalty shot attempt. I hate this fake out, slow step, drawing out the PK. Man, you got to take 3 steps. Don't be a coward. Literally,
right.
my text message in the group chat with my friends was coward in all caps and then justice. Because as soon as he started doing the hesitation, I'm like, coward. And then as soon as it got saved, I'm like, justice. I don't know if this is similarly cowardly.
Oh, okay. You're going to transition. Is this a transition comment?
It is.
Nice.
Folks over at CBS Sports decided to go and identify the greatest college football team from every decade of the last 100 years.
Yep.
Because, I mean, hey, we've been around for 250 now, everybody. Let's go. They made in the 90s Nebraska and Florida State. Every other decade's got somebody by themselves. 50s Oklahoma, 60s Bama, 70s SC, the 90s. And they say they diverge from their mission. They name both co-champions of the 90s. How many times did we play them in the 90s, Corey?
Let's see. Played them in 92 and 93. That's probably it, right? Just the 2 times? Yeah. It went 2-0 against them, including one for a national championship.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I do remember that.
I get it, though. I mean, I'm being a little bit tongue-in-cheek here. I'm not that upset by it. But yeah, just, they played heads up in a championship game. Florida State won it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know Nebraska had a good run there too. I mean, they were in the national, they played for it in obviously against us and then against the Gators when they stomped them and, maybe another time or two there. So they had the heck of a run, but
they won 3 national championships, and Florida State won 2.
They shared 2.5.
They shared one in 97 with Michigan, but they were 13-0 though in that season.
So there were 108 wins, 16 losses, 1 tie or draw, as I called it in soccer. Right. In the 90s, Florida State was 109 wins, so 1 more win, 3 less losses, 13 losses, and they also had a tie, but their tie, Florida State's, was, in fact, really a win, as we all know. But yeah, I don't know. I guess maybe one of the Nebraska losses was the 5th down against Missouri, right? Is that right?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, yeah, sorry. Yeah, yes, no, the 5th down, the fifth down was against Colorado. I think.
Right.
It was Colorado versus Missouri.
Right.
Nebraska had that crazy win in '97. Again, that was against Missouri too, where he threw like a desperation pass in the end zone. It kicked off his receiver's foot straight up in the air, and the other receiver came up and caught it in the back of the end zone. Do you remember that play?
I do not. I'm going to have to go look it up on YouTube after
Yeah,
this.
so they would have lost that. It was the same day that Florida State beat North Carolina when it was like number 5 versus number 3. Nebraska survived that game with the guy kicking it up in the air to his teammate accidentally, I think.
The flea kicker is what it's called. The flea kicker.
That's a good name for it. But I think if I was going to make the argument for Florida State, and obviously I would because again, it's not wake up Huskers. Although as much farming as we've talked today, but they had 1990 they were 9-3, 91 9-2, 92 9-3, and then 98 9-4. So they had four seasons where they didn't win double digits. I don't know if you guys are history buffs here for Florida State sports, but Florida State football never had a season under 10 wins in the 90s. And they played for 7 national championships, whatever it was. Like I would give it to I would give it to Florida State, but I understand the reason. They capped the decade with a great win and a great team and a national championship.
First ever wire-to-wire national champion.
Yeah, I just think overall, if you were looking at the amount of talent and everything but national championships, again, that counts, I know, but it's not like Florida State had 0. Florida State had 2, Nebraska had 3, but Florida State had more wins, less losses, and every single season they finished in the top 4, which is just insanity. So I would make Florida State the team of the 90s. But I bet all those other decades it was automatic. It was automatic. Like I assume Miami was the team of the 80s, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's automatic. The 2000s was – who
Bama.
was the 2000s?
Oh, no, Florida, the Gators.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. I didn't make the list. They made the list.
I guess they did win 3 of them, didn't they?
Yeah. Honorable mention was OU and then Texas.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, SC had a good run there, too.
Yeah,
why
that's
didn't they
who I
split
would've-
it? Why didn't they split that with them, huh?
Yeah, I don't know.
SEC
Florida had
bias. SEC
Florida.
bias.
You can't be the team of the decade when Ron Zook was your coach for a part of that decade.
Fair.
You know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. Like, Nebraska had Osborne. Florida State obviously had Bowden. Alabama had Saban. USC had Pete Carroll. Ron Zook is part of you. So you're the team of the decade because you had Urban Meyer for a few years? Come on now. Although that's a hard decade, I guess, to decipher who was the best one. But, yeah, cowardly. Cowardly's too strong. But make a decision. But I think they knew that they would get grief rightly. Like, if they'd have made Florida State the team of the 90s, I get that Wake Up Huskers would have been like, what in the world are y'all talking about?
Right.
But the flip side can be the same thing, too. Like, come on now. Look at what Florida State did throughout that decade.
William Floyd fumbled.
Well,
he
that's
fumbled.
true. Yep.
We got screwed.
They don't want to bring up that the very play before Florida State got in the end zone and they didn't call it. So just throwing that out there, everyone.
Yeah.
Also, get a kicker that can kick it straight. Like the Noles. Am I right, Aslan? Come on.
Amen. 4th of July holiday, man, was fun. Hope everybody had a good time. There's a thread that's now well into 2 pages that was posted on Friday, which was not the 4th of July. There was only 4 replies made on Friday the 3rd. And then it went off on the 4th of July. Like the fireworks started going off in this one singular thread, Corey. Then I'm like, wow.
Okay.
And it's I think it's one of our moderators, Booker20. His avatar, true story, is a photo of him and you. I think in either in Orlando before that LSU game or in New Orleans before that LSU game.
But how do you know it's LSU then?
Because I remember him being there.
Oh,
like
okay.
I remember those moments. I remember those moments in my life.
The next time we go back to New Orleans,
soon
we're
Sugar Bowl.
gonna book
Let's go.
We're gonna book a bigger place. That was chaos.
We were being humble. We didn't realize we were gonna have that many fans. But we should have known. Because I mean, golly, yeah. Before the LSU game, we had like that huge bar on the corner, like in Orlando, right?
Yes. But that was the 23 one.
Yeah,
the 22 one, we didn't know that anybody would be showing up to that thing, and it was a small venue, and it was slammed.
The thread title, Corey, is, do you, and if your answer is yes, please explain, And then the actual post is, do you blame the NC State loss on the head coach? Doesn't specify which year, Corey.
Oh, that's funny.
Doesn't specify which year.
Then yes, I do. Almost all of them. But go ahead.
Yeah, so, people are pointing out the obvious, punt hits off a kid's, really good all-conference caliber punter, maybe hits the worst punt of his season, maybe his career, of the year for him. Yep. And it, hits off KJ Kirkland, who's got his back to the ball because he's trying to set up a block, and it ends up ricocheting all the way back almost to the original line of scrimmage, and NC State, maintains possession. And then, you got to stop. Good job, defense. Tony White, showing him what it's all about. And then you punt again, goes off the face mask of the guy that you brought in from an SEC program and gave a sizable investment to, and he hadn't done anything for you since the first game of the season where he caught a crucial third down play.
Right.
And then I get it. Like, I guess it underscores, and I think Weinberg missed a field goal or two in that game, I feel like, for sure. So I get it. It's like, how is this my fault? I'm the head coach. Like, how is that my fault, man? Like, how can I don't know, like maybe putting Squirrel White back there. I don't know. Was that Papuchis' call? I don't know. But when you think back to games like that, I mean, I think that's, there's still a small part of the fan base that's trying to, speak it into existence. Like, listen, this guy was a good coach. He was a good coach when he had talent. He just hasn't had great talent. Maybe we were in a better position now, talent wise. Well, surely we are than we were 2 years ago in 2024. But like, just a string of just terrible luck. How could you blame a guy for bad luck? Kind of feels like.
I mean, I'm mostly the believer that you make your own luck, but I do understand that there is just bad luck that happens. There just is bad luck that happens. But if you look at every close game that Florida State has ever lost in the history of the program, you can look at decisions that the head coach made in that game or throughout that season that led to that moment, and that goes for every program in the world, every sport in the world. Yes, it's bad luck. It's not Mike Norvell's fault that ball hit off his face mask. It is Mike Norvell's fault that he hasn't had a competent punt catcher. Except for like one season. Yeah. And it was Keon Coleman.
He kind of stumbled into that one.
Yeah, that's your fault, man. I don't know what you're doing and how you're picking these guys, but they have no confidence. They don't do it well. They let the ball drop, and sometimes it hits off their face mask. And that was game 11 of the season, and you still didn't know who your punt returner was. 11 games into the season. So yeah, that's your fault. It's your fault that it's such a close game. I mean, all that is, it's intertwined. You can have bad luck and say, okay, that moment wasn't my fault. But there's always things that lead up to those critical moments that if the head coach doesn't get blamed, then what are they getting paid for? Like, that's part of the job is you so we can't just throw our hands up and say, well, yeah, it hit off the kid's face mask or he wasn't coached to bounce that screen pass. Let's use the Virginia game for an example. That screen pass that Tommy misses on in the overtime. It's a walk-in touchdown. It's a great call by Gus. I think it's a walk-in touchdown. It's definitely a first down. It looks like it's going to score.
Yes. And
you probably win the game if you make that throw. Is that Mike Norvell's fault that the quarterback threw it at the feet of the running back? Well, yeah, because why is Tommy Castellanos your quarterback?
Who else did you bring on campus to recruit as a quarterback?
Or what other
yes,
right. Or what other mistakes did you make in evaluation and developing over the previous 6 years that you were here that led to the moment where Tommy Castellanos is having to throw that pass? And Tommy had a good game in that game. I'm not saying he didn't, but again, you can always point back to something the head coach did. And look, man, I go back to the wide rights. Bobby Bowden didn't kick those kicks. But it was Bobby Bowden's program that was using a walk-on kicker in the biggest game, one of the biggest games in college football history. Miami has Carlos Huerta, who never effing missed, ever. And Florida State has Jerry Thomas, sorry. Yeah. I combined them both. Sorry to both of you gentlemen. They have Jerry Thomas, who was a walk-on. It's like, well, why are you having to depend on a walk-on? Like, place kicking's kind of important. What happened the last 3 or 4 years when it came to evaluation or whatever you do for kickers that this guy is in this moment? And also that, I know I remember this. There's a great book called St. Bobby and the Barbarians. I've mentioned a bunch on this show, but they go in depth on that final drive. And look, Florida State thought they got a first down to start that drive. They didn't. And remember, it was like a 2-minute drill. So they thought they had gotten a first down to stop the clock because the clock and the guy got out of bounds. I don't remember exactly what happened, but because I'm old. But they thought they had gotten a first down and the clock was stopped. I think, or they thought they had gotten out of bounds and the clock was stopped. Either way, 20 seconds of game clock run off before the coaches realize, oh, wait, the clock is running. Oh, no, we've got to call this play. Let's go. And I don't remember if it was because they thought they had a first down and they didn't, or because they thought they had got up. But anyway, the point is they let 20 to 25 seconds of game clock run off. Now, they got down the field. They got a couple of first downs. Eric Terrell was interfered with in the end zone. It's a 15-yard penalty, put him in field goal range. But I think they even kicked on. They might have kicked on second or third down.
They kicked on third down. It was also, it was a 9-yard gain, KC to Akez.
Yeah, and they thought it was a first down, and it wasn't. And they let all that time run off. Well, look, man, I know the 34-yard field goal seems like a pretty easy field goal to make, but you're also a walk-on. You got a walk-on kicker, and I don't remember how much time was left. 30 seconds? 40 seconds?
Believe it or not, they don't. It's hard to judge that.
I think he missed it. I thought he missed it with like 20 seconds left.
It says Toretta loses 1 yard, 25 seconds.
So so they took over with 25 seconds left or something. Yeah. So they probably kicked it at 30, which again.
And it was 3 minutes. There was 3 minutes and 1 second on the clock after Miami scored the go-ahead touchdown.
So maybe the point being, and Florida State was out of timeouts, I think.
No, they had 2 actually on that drive.
That doesn't make sense. No, I'm saying at the end of the game they were out of timeouts.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm saying if you had that extra 25 seconds, maybe you can run a play on third down that gets you into the middle of the field, so it's not such a sharp angle. Yeah. Maybe if you have that extra time, you can actually try to get a first down. You can take another shot at the end zone. You can do all these things, but you hurt yourself and took away at least 1 or 2 plays you could run, probably 1 at least, because of some bad time management. At the end of the day, the kid missed the kick. That's not Bobby Bowden's fault. That's not Casey Weldon's fault. That's not Marvin Jones's fault. And Miami didn't do anything for it. The kid just missed the kick. But Florida State's coaching staff didn't put them in the best position to make that game-winning kick, or to maybe even go score a touchdown and make the kick obsolete. So does Bobby Bowden deserve blame for the kid missing the kick? No. But does he deserve a little bit of blame for the situation that led to him taking a 34-yarder on third down? Yeah, am I a little bitter still, 35 years later? Kind of. Yeah. So the point, any game like that, there is luck involved, and Mike Norvell legitimately has been unlucky, Aslan. There is some unluck that goes into that. I think they beat Stanford if Tommy doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, probably.
I do. I think they beat Stanford. But why are you having to scramble to beat Stanford in the fourth quarter in a game where you were 3 weeks before had been ranked number 5 in the country? That's on you, Coach. There's some stuff that's not on you, but at the end of the day, when you're in a position where you have to fight, scratch, and claw with a team that doesn't have as much talent as you, or your offense isn't good enough to go score touchdowns, which happened in both wide right games, that's on the coaches too, as well. It's not just bad luck. I know that was a long soliloquy. I apologize, Aslan. I was just trying to show off that I remembered some things about the wide right.
On the way out, Florida State.
I blame Brad Johnson more than anyone. He was the holder. Laces out, Brad. Laces out. I think Brad actually threw his arms up.
Yeah, everyone did. Yeah, and Bobby ran out and hands on the hips like, what?
And you know what else is crazy for all you young fans, if you're still listening to this? That was the first year. If you look at the replay, the hash marks aren't lined up with the goalpost. The hash marks have been widened out, I think. That was the first year, 1991, where they had widened out the hash marks. So if you're kicking from the left hash, you're kicking from a tougher angle than you are now. Yeah. And I don't know how many yards it is that they were widening out, maybe 2 on each side, but they had widened out the hashes. And if he had kicked, they did the math. ESPN Game Day did a story the next week, actually, that if he had kicked from the exact hash mark in 1990, then the field goal would have been good. Yeah. So, but then Huerta probably would have made a 60-yarder at the horn, and they would have lost it anyway.
On the way out, Link, Jarrett staying busy. You wanted a pitcher, everybody. You went and got a pitcher. Also, apparently, can play the outfield in a pinch. Sebastian Lippman from the state of New York started his career 2025 redshirting on the Plains. That's Auburn. What's Georgia Tech called? The Heights? The Flats?
The Flats.
The Flats. Sorry. Georgia Tech. And then he was most recently was at Florida Gulf Coast. 40 innings, 50 punch outs.
Is he a lefty or a righty?
He's a righty, Corey.
Okay. How tall?
6'1", 193.
Okay. Put together. All right. Like it.
So, Florida Gulf Coast, they play, they played FAU, UNF, Stetson. I know Stetson had the greatest of seasons this past year, but still a solid program. So he's putting pieces together. I would imagine hopefully we get another arm or two.
Do you have his stats? Like he had 50 strikeouts in 40 innings.
I do.
BBs.
28 BBs in 40 innings.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of that. How many earned runs?
15.
Okay, so that's like a 4 ERA.
3.88. 3.38 actually.
Okay, all right. Well, I like that he can strike guys out. I don't like the control issues.
10 wild pitches.
Oh, wow.
4 hit by pitch.
Well, he's come to the right place if he likes throwing wild pitches. This is the mecca for wild pitches.
Okay. All right, well, that's it then. That's all we got for you folks. Okay. On the way. Who knows? Fly, Eagles fly or whatever. Florida Gulf Coast, now you're at Florida State. That's a wrap for us today. Jeff Cameron Show coming up. We'll have another program in the middle of the week. Probably our interview with Fred Biletnikoff, Corey.
Okay, good. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So
that was really fun. That was a lot of fun.
It was. It was almost like it was almost a full hour. So we probably won't have anything else on there unless there's some kind of important news. Maybe Link adds another piece of the puzzle, which then we'll talk about it. So
or maybe CBS Sports comes back and says our bad.
Yeah.
Florida State is the team of the 90s.
That would be nice. In the meantime, check out warchant.com. Again, $1 for 5 days and 50% off an annual membership. Take advantage of it now, the summer sale. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. Thanks for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by Cummins.